वंदेहं
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण।
श्री गुरु श्रीयुता पदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं चाप्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण पदां साधन ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद नित्यानंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayar Sagara E dase korona kori O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayar Sagara O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayar Sagara E dase koruna kori Diya pada chaya Soda he amaya 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 Tomar charana dhari Tomar charana dhari Chaya begadami Chaya dasa sadhi Chaya begadami Chaya dasa sadhi Chaya guna deha dase Chaya guna deha dase Chaya sat sanga deha he amare Chaya sat sanga deha he amare Chaya sat sanga deha he amare Bosechi sange raase Bosechi sange raase একাকী আমার নাহি পায় বল একাকী আমার নাহি পায় বল একাকী আমার নাহি হরি নাম সংকীর্তনে হরি নাম সংকীর্তনে কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো তোমার শক্তি আছে তোমার শক্তি আছে আমি তো কঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো কঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো কঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ 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 गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ये दासे ऋणापेक्षा अतिहीना गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ये दासे ऋणापेक्षा गुरुदेव कृपा बिंदु दिया करो ये दासे ऋणापेक्षा अतिहीना गुरुदेव बिंदु दिया करो ये दासे ऋणापेक्षा अतिहीना सकल सहने বল দিয়া কর সকল সকলে সহনে বল দিয়া কর সকলে সহনে বল দিয়া কর নিজ মনে স্পৃহাহীনা নিজ মনে স্পৃহাহীনা সকলে সম্মান করিতে সকতি সকলে সম্মান সম্মান করিতে সকতি সকলে দেহনাথ যথা যথ দেহনাথ যথা যথ তবে তো গাইব হরিনাম সুখে রাম রাম হরে 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
హరే కృష్ణ హరే కృష్ణ. కృష్ణాయ భూతలే ఇమమాతే భక్తి వేదాంత స్వామి నితి. గౌరవాణి ప్రచారిణే పాశ్చాత్యాదేశతారిణే
Because after this, I go to the farm. So I would like to offer a short homage to Srila Prabhupada.
ఇక్కడి నుంచి నేను హైదరాబాద్ ఫామ్కి వెళ్తున్నాను. ఆ వెళ్ళే ముందు నా ప్రభుపాదుల వారికి నా ఆఫరింగ్ తెలియజేసి వెళ్తాను.
There was 3-year drought that time in Andhra Pradesh.
అప్పట్లో ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లో 3 సంవత్సరాల పాటు కరువు సంభవించింది.
Tirupati or Tirumala, I don't remember, they had 108 kunda or yagya to bring the rains.
అప్పుడు తిరుమల తిరుపతి దేవస్థానం ఒక 108 యజ్ఞకుండాలతో యజ్ఞాన్ని తలపెట్టి వర్షాల కోసమని వారు యజ్ఞం చేశారు.
used to see chanting the mantras.
అప్పట్లో వాళ్ళు ఈ యజ్ఞాలు చేసేటప్పుడు మంత్రాలు చదవడానికి సరిగ్గా చదువుతున్నారా లేదా అని చూసేటువంటి వారు కొంతమంది ఉండేవారు.
Well, in Kali Yuga, Brahmins are not so expert, and the Hare Yuga ended up with big smoke and no rain.
So in Kali Yuga, the Brahmanas are not qualified. So this fire yagya, it ended up with smoke only and no rain.
కానీ కలియుగంలో బ్రాహ్మణులకు సరైనటువంటి అర్హత లేకపోవడం వల్ల వారు ఈ యజ్ఞాన్ని తలపెట్టినా కూడా ఆ యజ్ఞం వల్ల కలిగింది కేవలం పొగ మిగిలింది, వర్షాలు మాత్రం రాలే.
And then Prabhupada did a Sankirtan Yagya in Hyderabad.
So then Srila Prabhupada did a Sankirtan yagya in Hyderabad.
అప్పుడు ప్రభుపాదులు వారు హైదరాబాద్లో సంకీర్తన యజ్ఞం తలపెట్టారు.
Which is the Yagya recommended for this age.
Which is the yagya recommended for this age.
ఈ కలియుగానికి అది ప్రతిపాదించినటువంటి యజ్ఞం సంకీర్తన యజ్ఞం.
And it rained.
And it rained.
సంకీర్తన తర్వాత ఇక్కడ విపరీతంగా వర్షాలు పడ్డాయి.
He did many miracles.
Srila Prabhupada, he did many miracles.
శ్రీల ప్రభుపాదులు వారు ఎన్నో అద్భుతాలు చేశారు.
And someone said, well, in the famous guru in Andhra Pradesh, he was able to produce some magical tricks.
So,
About what magic can you show us?
so someone told about the famous guru in Andhra Pradesh who would do many magical tricks. So we asked Prabhupada, what magic trick you can show us?
సో ఎవరో అన్నారు,
Somebody asked Prabhupada, Indian businessman.
ఒక భారతీయ వ్యాపారి ప్రభుపాదుల వారితో అడిగారంట, ఎవరో ఒక ఆయన ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లో చాలా అద్భుతాలు చేస్తున్నాడు, చాలా మ్యాజిక్లు చేస్తున్నాడు అని చెప్పేసి మీరేం మ్యాజిక్ చేస్తారు అని అడిగారంట.
Prabhupada said, I went to America with 40 rupees.
Prabhupada said, I went to America with 40 rupees.
నేను అమెరికాకి 40 రూపాయలతో వెళ్ళాను.
Now, in just a few years, I have 40 crores.
And now in just few years, I have 40 crores.
కొన్ని సంవత్సరాల్లోనే నేను 40 రూపాయల నుంచి 40 కోట్లకు ఎదిగాను.
The businessman said, oh, that's a miracle.
So businessman said, that's a miracle.
అప్పుడు ఆ వ్యాపారి అన్నాడు, అవును ఇది నిజంగా అద్భుతమే.
Prabhupada is very merciful.
Prabhupada, he was very merciful.
ప్రభుపాదుల వారు చాలా దయాళులు.
And, you know, he explained everything very simply.
He explained everything very simply.
ఆయన ప్రతి విషయాన్ని చాలా సరళంగా అర్థమయ్యే విధంగా చెప్పేవారు.
So that the people would understand.
So that the people would understand.
సాధారణ జనులందరూ కూడా దీన్ని అర్థం చేసుకునే విధంగా.
One of our swamis was going by a Mayavadi sannyasi lecturing in South India.
One of our Swami, he was going by a Mayavadi lecturer in South India.
ఎవరో ఒక స్వామి ఈ దక్షిణ భారతదేశంలో ఉండే ఒక మాయావాది సిద్ధాంతాన్ని పాటిస్తూ ఉండేవాడు.
So people are coming out from the lecture. So, oh, good lecture. What did he say?
So people were coming out and they were saying, "Whoa, the lecture was nice, but what did he say?" Our sannyasi said, "Ask them that the lecture was nice, but what did he say?" So he asked, the lecture was nice, but what did he say?
అప్పుడు మన ఇస్కాన్ సన్యాసి ఒక ఆయన అన్నారు, ఓ చాలా బాగుంది లెక్చర్, కానీ దాన్ని లెక్చర్ తర్వాత ఆయన ఏం చెప్పాడు నాకేం అర్థం కావట్లేదు.
Oh, we are ordinary people. Why can we understand what a sannyasi said?
Oh, we are ordinary people. What can we understand a sannyasi say?
సో అప్పుడు సో మేము చెప్పేటువంటి వాళ్ళ సాధారణ జనులకు ఏం అర్థం అవుతాయి?
That was the difference. That Prabhupada, when he speak, he would bring the things in a simple way so that people could understand.
That was the difference. When Srila Prabhupada would speak, he would bring the things down to such an extent, so simple that a normal person could understand.
సో ఈ మాయవాది వీళ్ళు చెప్పేటువంటివి సాధారణ జనులకు ఎప్పుడు అర్థం కావు, కానీ ప్రభుపాదులు వారు చెప్పేవి సాధారణ జనులు అర్థం చేసుకునే విధంగా అంత సరళంగా వివరించారు.
Prabhupada, he came here, he stayed in this temple, he was overseeing the installation of the deities, the chief minister Chinna Reddy at that time.
So Srila Prabhupada came here, he stayed here, he administered the deity installation. At that time, the chief minister, Chenna Reddy.
No, he's not Chenna Reddy. Jalagam Vengalrao was the chief minister.
So the chief minister at that time, he came.
So this place is very special.
So this place is very special.
శ్రీల ప్రభుపాదులు వారు ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి ఈ డిటి ఇన్స్టలేషన్ అంటే విగ్రహ ప్రతిష్ఠ చేశారు. ఆ సమయంలో ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ముఖ్యమంత్రిగా ఉన్నటువంటి జలగం వెంగళరావు గారు కూడా వచ్చి ఈ ఫంక్షన్లో పాల్గొన్నారు.
I've seen here in South India, this state has Balaji, Shingadev, many additional deities.
I've seen in this state in South India, there are many deities, Balaji, Narsimhadev, etc. Many Vishnu deities.
ఇక్కడ ఈ దక్షిణ భారతదేశంలో మరి ముఖ్యంగా తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాల్లో, ఇప్పుడు తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాలు అయినాయి కానీ అప్పుడు ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్గా ఒక్క రాష్ట్రంగా ఉన్నప్పుడు మనం చూసాం ఇక్కడ బాలాజీ విగ్రహాలు, తర్వాత బాలాజీ చాలా ఫేమస్ బాలాజీ డిటి తిరుమల, తర్వాత ఎన్నో నరసింహస్వామి దేవస్థానాలు ఇక్కడ ఉన్నాయి.
He wanted to, when they offered him a farm of 600 acres.
When Srila Prabhupada was offered a farm of 600 acres,
he wanted to make some villages just as an example.
he wanted to make some villages, just an example.
శ్రీల ప్రభుపాదులు వారికి ఈ హైదరాబాద్లో 600 ఎకరాల స్థలాన్ని కొంతమంది దాతలు ఇచ్చారు. అప్పుడు ప్రభుపాదులు వారు ఒక చిన్న చిన్న గ్రామాలు, ఐడియల్గా ఉండేటువంటి గ్రామాలని తయారు చేయాలని అనుకున్నారు.
So I was very fortunate that I was in Mayapur, Calcutta, and Prabhupada, he went to Mayapur and twice a year.
So I was very fortunate to be in Mayapur and Kolkata, and Prabhupada would come to Mayapur at least twice a year.
నేను మాయపూర్లో ఉండడం చాలా అదృష్టంగా భావిస్తున్నాను, ఎందుకంటే ప్రభుపాదులు వారు ప్రతి సంవత్సరం కనీసం 2 సార్లు మాయపూర్ కలకత్తా వచ్చేటువంటి వారు.
Now we have the birthplace of Srila Prabhupada in our possession.
So now we have birthplace of Srila Prabhupada in our possession.
ఇప్పుడు కలకత్తాలో ప్రభుపాదులు వారు పుట్టినటువంటి ప్రదేశం మనం ఇస్కాన్ వాళ్ళు సంపాదించుకున్నాం. అది చాలా ప్రత్యేకమైనటువంటిది.
So, I mean, little things happen, but for us they are very wonderful.
So little things happen, but for us they're very wonderful.
ఇవి చిన్న చిన్న కార్యాలుగానే కనిపించవచ్చు, కానీ ఇవి మాకు చాలా గొప్ప అద్భుతమైనటువంటి కార్యాలు.
Everything he saw, he would think of something Krishna conscious.
Everything he saw, he would think something Krishna conscious.
ప్రభుపాదుల వారు దేన్ని చూసినా కూడా కృష్ణ చైతన్య పరంగా చూసేటువంటి వారు.
2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, anytime he would call me.
1 a.m., 2 a.m., anytime he would call me.
కొన్నిసార్లు మధ్యరాత్రి 1 గంటకి 2 గంటలకి నన్ను పిలిచేవారు ప్రభుపాదులు వారు.
He'd be getting up at midnight and translating and writing reports for his books.
He would be getting up at midnight and he would be writing and recording purports for his books.
ప్రభుపాదుల వారు 1 గంటకి రాత్రి 1 గంటకి లేచి రోజు తాను ఈ శాస్త్రాల యొక్క అధ్యయనం చేసి ఆ యొక్క భావాల్ని భాష్యాల్ని రాసేటువంటి వారు.
Bhagavatam in Sanskrit, Tikas of different acharyas in Sanskrit.
He had Bhagavatam in Sanskrit and Tikas of different acharyas in Sanskrit.
శ్రీల ప్రభుపాదుల వారి దగ్గర శ్రీమద్ భాగవతం తర్వాత ఈ గౌడీ వైష్ణవాచార్యులు రాసినటువంటి వ్యాఖ్యానాలు కూడా సంస్కృతంలో ఉండేవి.
I think all of you would like to have association of Srila Prabhupada.
I think all of you would like to have association of Srila Prabhupada.
అందరూ కూడా ప్రభుపాదుల వారి సాంగత్యం తీసుకోవాలని కోరుకునేటువంటి వారే.
He left his books so that you can study and you can associate with him.
He left his books so that you can study and associate with his books and him.
ఎవరైతే ప్రభుపాదుల వారి యొక్క సాంగత్యం తీసుకోవాలనుకుంటున్నారో వారందరూ కూడా ప్రభుపాదుల వారు మనందరికీ విడిచిపెట్టినటువంటి ఈ యొక్క శాస్త్రాలని పుస్తకాలని అధ్యయనం చేసి తద్వారా ప్రభుపాదుల వారి సాంగత్యం తీసుకోవచ్చు.
Radhe Shyam, do you think it's important to study Prabhupada books?
Radhe Shyam Prabhu, do you think is it important to study Prabhupada books?
You can all associate with Prabhupada by reading his books.
You can all associate with Srila Prabhupada by reading his books.
అందరూ కూడాను ప్రభుపాదుల వారి యొక్క సాంగత్యాన్ని ఆయన పుస్తకాలు చదవడం ద్వారా తీసుకోవచ్చు. ఏం రాధేశ్యాం ప్రభు, ఇది నిజమే అంటారా?
Someone told me whenever you see a guru, they should humble yourself and ask for his mercy.
So somebody asked me,
Tell me.
somebody told me whenever I see my guru, I should humble myself and ask for his blessings.
నాకెవరో చెప్పారు, నా గురువుని ఎవరైనా సరే తమ గురువుని చూసిన తర్వాత వారి ఎడ్ల వారి ముందు చాలా వినమ్రంగా ఉంటూ వారి నుంచి రకరకాల సలహాలు తీసుకోవాలి అని.
I would do this every day when I saw Srila Prabhupada.
So I would do this every day when I saw Srila Prabhupada.
సో నేను రోజు ప్రభుపాదుల వారిని చూస్తూ అలాగే చేసేవాడిని.
But he is a person and he would do things unexpected.
But he's a person and he would do things unexpected.
కానీ ప్రభుపాదుల వారు చాలా ఊహించినటువంటివి కొన్ని పనులు చేసేటువంటి వారు.
I said, Prabhupada, I'm a fool.
I went to Prabhupada, said, I am a fool.
ఒకసారి నేను ప్రభుపాదుల వారి దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి నేను చాలా చాలా మూర్ఖుణ్ణి అని చెప్పాను.
He said, yes.
He said, yes.
ప్రభుపాదుల వారు అన్నారు, అవును నిజమే అన్నారు.
I went to Prabhupada. I said, I want to serve you life after life.
I went to Prabhupada. I said to him, I want to serve you life after life.
తర్వాత ప్రభుపాదుల వారి దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి నేను ఏమన్నానంటే, ప్రభుపాద్, నేను మిమ్మల్ని జన్మ జన్మలకి మీకు సేవ చేయాలని నా అభిలాష అన్న.
Why do you want to make me come back?
He said, "Why you want to make me come back?"
అప్పుడు ప్రభుపాదులు అన్నారు, నువ్వు నన్ను సేవ చేయాలంటే నేను కూడా రావాలి కదయా, నన్ను ఎందుకు మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడికి తప్పిస్తావు నన్ను.
I thought I said the right thing.
I thought I said the right thing.
నేను అనుకున్నాను, నేను కరెక్ట్గానే చెప్పాను కదా అనుకున్నాను.
Then I said, I want to serve you even life after life.
Then I said, "I want to serve you even life after life."
అయినా కూడా నేను మిమ్మల్ని జన్మ జన్మలకి సేవ చేస్తాను ప్రభుపాద అని చెప్పి నేను చెప్పాను.
Then he was silent.
Then he was silent.
Anyway,
అప్పుడు ఆయన ఊరుకున్నారు.
I could go on telling you all the different things. One time, while I was in the bathroom, he called for me, Jai.
So anyway, I can go on saying many things. One time he was in the bathroom and he called me, "Jai Pataka, Jai Pataka."
ఇలా నేను చాలా చెప్పుకుంటూ పోతే చాలా ఉన్నాయి. ఒకసారి నేను మాయపూర్లో బాత్రూంలో ప్రభుపాదుల వారు ఉన్నప్పుడు గట్టిగా అరుపు వినిపించింది, జై పతాక జై పతాక అని.
I went running, and he was in the cubicle of the bathroom. There was a snake. I'm poisoning this life for a snake. He tried to reach Prabhupada, they were stuck in the door.
So Prabhupada was in the cubicle. I was running, and there was a snake, poisonous snake. He was stuck in the door, and he wanted to reach Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada was holding the door.
Prabhupada was holding the door
The snake couldn't come out.
so that the snake could not reach Prabhupada.
ఒకసారి ప్రభుపాదుల వారు ఈ గట్టిగా అరిచినప్పుడు గురు మహారాజ్ జయపతాక మహారాజ్ ఆయన దగ్గరికి ఏమైందని చూడడానికి వెళ్తే ఆ ప్రభుపాదుల వారు ఇరుక్కున్నారు, ఆ డోర్ దగ్గర ఇరుక్కున్నారు. అక్కడ ఒక విషసర్పం ఉంది.
Prabhupada couldn't close the door. His hand was crushed.
Prabhupada could not close the door because
His hand was crushed.
his hand would be crushed.
ప్రభుపాదుల వారు డోర్ క్లోజ్ చేయాలంటే ఆయన చేయి దాంట్లో నలిగిపోతుంది కాబట్టి ఆయన క్లోజ్ చేయలేకపోయారు. కానీ అక్కడ స్నేక్ ఉంది, అక్కడ విషసర్పం ఉంది.
He indicated that I should save him somehow.
He indicated that I should save him somehow.
అప్పుడు ప్రభుపాదుల వారు నన్ను పిలిచి నన్ను ఇక్కడి నుంచి తీసుకెళ్ళు కాపాడని చెప్పేసి అన్నాను.
So I asked them to release the door. And so they did. I pushed the door in and crushed the snake.
So I asked him to leave the door. Then he pushed the door so that the snake was. I pushed the door so the snake was crushed.
అప్పుడు ప్రభుపాదుల వారిని మీరు చేయి వెనక్కి తీసేసాను ప్రభుపాద అని చెప్పి నేను ఆ యొక్క డోర్ని ఇలా మూసేసాను చేత్తో. అప్పుడు
I grabbed Srila Prabhupada and pulled him out.
అప్పుడు నేను ప్రభుపాదుల వారు చేయి పట్టుకొని ఆయన్ని బాత్రూమ్ నుంచి బయటికి తీసేశాను. అక్కడ విషసర్పం బాత్రూంలో ఉండిపోయింది.
One time the laborers went on strike.
One time the laborers went on strike.
ఒకసారి అక్కడ ఉండేటువంటి కార్మికులు సమ్మె తలపెట్టారు.
And they were laying a slab. They stopped the slab and have a crack in the middle.
So they were laying a slab, and if they would stop, the slab would have a crack in the middle.
అప్పుడు మేము ఒక ఈ స్లాబ్ వేస్తున్నాం. ఆ స్లాబ్ వేసినప్పుడు ఈ స్ట్రైక్ జరిగింది కాబట్టి మధ్యలో ఆగితే అక్కడ స్లాబ్ క్రాక్ వచ్చేస్తుంది.
All the sannyasis and senior devotees who are visiting Prabhupada, Prabhupada send them out, finish the slab.
All the sannyasis, senior devotees who came to see Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada sent them and told them, finish the slab.
సో అప్పుడు ప్రభుపాదులు అని చూడడానికి వచ్చినటువంటి ఈ వరిష్టమైనటువంటి భక్తులు ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో సన్యాసులు వాళ్ళందరికీ గంపలిచ్చి మీరు స్లాబ్ కంప్లీట్ చేయండి అని చెప్పారు.
Cement on their head like coolies.
They were carrying the cement on their head as coolies.
సో ఆ గంపలతో వారు తల మీద పెట్టుకొని ఆ స్లాబ్ కంప్లీట్ చేయడానికి కూలీలా వెళ్ళారు.
I was the only one who knew how to run the cement mixer.
I was the only one who knew how to run the cement mixture
అప్పుడు నేను
machine.
ఆ సిమెంట్ మిక్చర్లో ఆ మెషిన్ని ఎలా దాన్ని ఆపరేట్ చేయాలో తెలిసిన ఒకే ఒక వ్యక్తి నేనే.
Laughing to see his disciples.
Prabhupada was laughing seeing his disciples doing this service.
ప్రభుపాద వీళ్ళందరినీ ఈ కాషాయ వస్త్రాలు వేసుకొని ఒక బుట్టలు పట్టుకొని వెళ్తూ వాళ్ళందరినీ చూసి ప్రభుపాదులు వారు చాలా నవ్వారు చూసి.
When the leaders saw that the sannyasis were all doing their seva, and they quit the strike.
When the laborers saw that the sannyasis were doing this job, they quit the strike and they came back.
అప్పుడు ఈ కూలి వాళ్ళు కార్మికులు ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళు చూశారు, అరే మేము స్ట్రైక్ చేస్తుంటే ఈ సన్యాసులు చేయాల్సి వచ్చింది పని అని చెప్పి వాళ్ళు స్ట్రైక్ ఆపేసి వాళ్ళు మళ్ళీ పనిలోకి దిగారు.
Anyway, we're all very fortunate to be in this temple, be in the disciplic succession of Srila Prabhupada.
Anyway, you are all very fortunate to be in this temple and in the disciplic succession of Srila Prabhupada.
మీరందరూ కూడా చాలా అదృష్టవంతులు. ఈ మందిరంతో ఎవరైతే అసోసియేట్ అవుతున్నారో, సాంగత్యం తీసుకున్నారో వాళ్ళందరూ, తర్వాత ఈ యొక్క పరంపరలో ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళందరూ చాలా అదృష్టవంతులు.
And his lectures, and one lecture in 1975 in Mayapur, he said like 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million crore acharyas.
There was a lecture in 1975 in Mayapur where Srila Prabhupada was saying that in future there would be 1,000, 10,000 millions of acharyas.
ఒకసారి 1975లో ప్రభుపాదులు వారు లెక్చర్ ఇచ్చేటప్పుడు ఆయన ఒక తన యొక్క ఆశని తెలియజేశారు. రాబో కాలంలో వేలు, వందలు, వేలు, లక్షలు, కోట్ల మంది ఆచార్యులు రావాలి ఈ యొక్క భౌతిక ప్రపంచానికి అని.
He had a vision to deliver the world by Lord Chaitanya's mercy.
He had a vision to deliver the world by Lord Chaitanya's mercy.
ప్రభుపాదుల వారి యొక్క తలంపు ఏమిటంటే చైతన్య మహాప్రభు యొక్క కృప ద్వారా ఈ ప్రపంచం అంతా కూడాను ఈ భౌతిక ప్రపంచం నుంచి అందరూ బయటపడాలి.
So the last thing I want to say.
This was the last thing I wanted to say.
One thing is that in Japan, when they were observing the Vyas Puja of Srila Prabhupada, they forgot to do the Pushpanjali.
One thing was, in Japan, when they were observing Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, they forgot to do the Pushpanjali.
ఒకసారి జపాన్లో ప్రభుపాదుల వారి యొక్క వ్యాస పూజ జరుగుతూ వాళ్ళు దాన్ని అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తూ దాన్ని పాటిస్తూ పుష్పాంజలి చేయడం మర్చిపోయారు.
He said the Vyas Puja is faulty, it's improper.
He said the Vyasa Puja is faulty, it's improper.
అప్పుడు ప్రభుపాదుల వారు అన్నారు, ఈ వ్యాస పూజ అసంపూర్ణమైంది, ఇది సరిగ్గా జరగలేదు అన్నారు.
You have to do it again, fast again, and offer Pushpanjali.
You have to do it again, fast again, and then offer Pushpanjali.
అప్పుడు ప్రభుపాదులు వారు అన్నారు, మీరు మళ్ళీ దీన్ని సరిగ్గా చేయాలంటే మీరు మళ్ళీ ఫాస్టింగ్ ఉండాలి, తర్వాత మళ్ళీ పుష్పాంజలి చేయాలి, అప్పుడే సరిగ్గా జరిగినట్టు.
So if you don't want to fast again and do it tomorrow, then please offer Pushpanjali today 3 times.
So if you don't want to fast again tomorrow, then offer the Pushpanjali 3 times today.
మళ్ళీ రేపు మీరందరూ కూడా మళ్ళీ ఉపవాసం ఉండకుండా ఉండాలంటే ఈరోజు ప్రభుపాదుల వారి వ్యాస పూజ చివరిలో 3 సార్లు పుష్పాంజలి సమర్పించారు.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj ki, श्रील प्रभुपाद व्यास पूजा महोत्सव की।
हरे कृष्णा। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। श्री कृष्ण प्रभु नित्यानंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय पताका स्वामी महाराज की। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. We request the donors to come for Abhishek. And Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna. If there are any donors or Bhakti Vriksha leaders left for Abhishekam of Srila Prabhupada, please come. We are going to end the Abhishekam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Swami Prabhupada. Yes, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ 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 প্রভুপাদ
Hare Krishna. So we welcome all the devotees for the 126th Vyas Puja celebrations of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So we'll begin this by offering the Vyas Puja book of all the offerings of ISKCON Hyderabad devotees. So there are about 170 offerings written. So we request Srila Prabhupada disciples and HTMC to please come and offer this to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna. To make this Srila Prabhupada Vyas Puja book, His Grace Srinivas Prasad Prabhu along with Kalyan Ram Prabhu, Shashank Prabhu, Srijan Prabhu, Vignesh Prabhu and Mukesh Prabhu, they help. So we would like to thank all of them for collecting all these offerings and making a nice book. Now next we would like to request His Grace Anandmai Prabhu to give his offering to Srila Prabhupada.
Namaste Saraswati Devi. So every year on this most auspicious day, we offer humble obeisances and seek blessings from His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This day is called Vyas Puja Day, Srila Prabhupada appearance. The meaning of Vyas Puja is as follows. Vyas Puja is a bona fide spiritual master's appearance day. Srila Vyasadeva very wonderfully compiled all the Vedic literatures. He is the original spiritual master for anyone following the Vedic way of spiritual realization. Therefore, the spiritual master is known as the representative of Vyasadeva because he carries the message of Vyasadeva throughout the world. Out of the millions of Sanskrit verses composed by Srila Vyas, The whole of Vedic knowledge is summarized in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is known as the ripened fruit of the desired tree of Vedic knowledge. The ripened fruit is received hand to hand through disciplic succession, and anyone who does this work in disciplic succession from Srila Vyasadeva is considered to be his representative. Thus, the appearance day of the spiritual master is worshipped as Vyas Puja. In this connection, the exalted seat on which the spiritual master sits is called Vyasasana. The system of offering respect to the spiritual master is current in all sections of Vedic followers. We of the Gaudiya Sampradaya offer a humble homage annually on the appearance day of our spiritual master, and this auspicious moment is called Vyas Puja. We dedicate this volume with thousands of dandavat at the lotus feet of our eternal spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Parivrajagacharya Ashtatarasata, Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj. We so mercifully delivering the transcendental message of Vyasadeva for the welfare of all living beings. This Vyas Puja book is from 1973. So I would like to read the offering at that time made by the Hyderabad temple, ISKCON, 1973, on this day. Dear Eternal Father, Srila Prabhupada, O representative of Sukadev Goswami, please accept our most humble obeisances at your transcendental feet. It is known that you are the only bona fide Acharya from the disciplic succession who is preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya. Pridivite acheyat nagara digram sarvatra prachar hoibe mor nam. In the age of Kali, all the bogus masters who are misleading the people can't hold a candle before you. How can we compare your causeless mercy, O servant of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj? Please accept our most worthless obeisances time after time at your lotus feet, and please forgive the offenses that we commit in your service. Guru Krishna Prasadipai Bhakti Lata Bij. By the grace of Guru, one can get Krishna, and by the grace of Krishna, one can get a bona fide Guru. O Srila Prabhupada, simply by hearing from you, we can get relief from the fire of material nations. Simply by following your instruction, we can enter into the association of His Lordship, Krishna, in the eternal abode. Thank you very much for giving us the golden opportunity to become purified by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, following your instructions and by studying your holy books. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. You are a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord Krishna and a perfect disciple of His Divine Grace, Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. All glories to you, our Divine Preceptor, His Divine Grace, Sridhar Goswami, Abhaicharan Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj. All glories to you, all glories to your Divine Grace. We are always praying for your good health. So there's, at that time, disciples in Hyderabad, they signed this offering. Akoyananda Swami, Mahamsa Swami, Haridas Brahmachari, Mahendra Das Brahmachari, Chaitanya Guru Das Brahmachari, Anandamaya Das Brahmachari, Palika Devi Dasi. Next, I feel some inspiration to read a letter written by Srila Prabhupada, which I recently saw in the book called Prabhupada Sikshamrita, Volume 1. And it is a letter addressed to Revati Nandan, I think maybe Swami at that time, I'm not sure. Revati Nandan, I think he was in London. The letter is dated 10th of December 1972. Yeah, addressed to London. So Srila Prabhupada writes on the 10th of December 1972, we have just completed our Pandal program in Hyderabad, and it was very, very successful. In that portion, there was no rain for 2 years, but due to our Sankirtan Yajna, the rain came, and everyone was happy that we came to make it rain. And besides that, they gave us some nice land in the most central marketplace of the city, and we are raising up a gorgeous temple with the help of the local devotees. So this is part of the letter written by Srila Prabhupada about this first program, November 72, that we had at here, exhibition ground. Prabhupada gave a lecture for 1 week, and it was very, very successful. And at the end of it, this land was given here by Sri G. Pulareddy, Sweet Merchants. So that is acknowledgement here and appreciation by Srila Prabhupada. We can remember this. Next, I would like to read an offering written by His Holiness Bhakti Sharu Swami in 2020. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvesesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my most humble obeisances unto your divine lotus feet. As I am trying to compose my Vyas Puja offering, I cannot help but reflect on the world situation today. The whole world is in the grip of intense fear caused by a pandemic, and practically everything has come to a standstill. The whole of India is on lockdown, and no one is allowed to go out of his house. For the first time in history, all the places of worship, temples, mosques, churches, and synagogues have been shut down. No one could have ever imagined that such a situation would arise. Nevertheless, I can see the foresight of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, knowing that such a situation would arise when no one would be able to go to the temple to see the deities of the Lord and worship Him. He gave us the process of chanting His holy name. At a time like this, I also wonder whether this is His divine arrangement to force this world to surrender unto Him and accept the process of congregational chanting. After all, He sent you to fulfill His prediction, and very systematically you have made all the arrangements by creating the institution of ISKCON and training an army of dedicated devotees worldwide, an army that is marching forward equipped with the most powerful weapons of your books to defeat the misdirected atheistic civilization of this world. On this auspicious day of your Vyas Puja, please bless us so that we can become valiant warriors in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's army and fight against the enemy that has vitiated the whole world with sinful activities. Please lead us as our glorious general to lay siege to meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. Under your divine leadership, we are confident that victory will be ours, that we will defeat the eternal enemy of this world, which corrupts everyone's mind with the poison of atheism. Once again, under your expert guidance, let us establish the kingdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this world. When we have a pure devotee like you to lead us, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead with us, then who can ever doubt our victory? Who can ever doubt that the ominous influence of Kali will be defeated and that absolute peace and ultimate prosperity will prevail again, bringing the spiritual world down to this beautiful planet of ours? Your humble servant, eternally, Bhakti Chalu Swami. So I was very much inspired by this offering. I would like to speak a few more words because I think many others have their offering to offer. One very significant thing regarding Srila Prabhupada, utmost humility. That is very striking. Prabhupada was in Los Angeles, and it was just a few days before the appearance day of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj. And Srila Prabhupada had informed all the different centers of ISKCON in America that they should make an offering for Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj for this occasion of his appearance. So all the different temples, they wrote some offering and they sent it to Los Angeles. One of these temples was a Boston, ISKCON Boston, and their letter offering reached Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles in time. On the day of appearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, Prabhupada held a special function in the temple in Los Angeles, and Prabhupada started his lecture. Everybody was expecting that Srila Prabhupada would glorify his spiritual master. Naturally, everybody was expecting that. Prabhupada started his lecture telling, I'm not qualified to glorify my spiritual master. Instead of that, I will read from the offerings of my disciples. And he took the letter from ISKCON Boston and he started to read that letter of offering. And Prabhupada said that my spiritual master will bestow his blessings to his grand disciples more than me. So we can just appreciate the utter humility of Srila Prabhupada. I will end here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिनि नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेष शून्यवाणी पाश्चात्य देश. I am not a poet. I do not have any qualification to glorify my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. If I say anything, it is just like showing the torch in front of the sun. Is it going to get any effect? No. Right? So, yesterday I was very thrilled to see the energy of all the devotees here. It was recharging. So, I thank you all. You also recharged my batteries too. So, just like this is the temple of Radha Madan Mohan, and without the blessing of Guru and Gauranga, we cannot do anything. And the assistance from all the devotees, right? So I request everybody to assist us to glorify the mission of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Gauranga. But one cautious approach must be there. Just like when we are in a marketplace, this is a temple, the hundreds and thousands of people are coming, but we cannot see everybody, right? But everybody can see us, see me, right? You follow what I mean to say? See, so how much alertness we must be. We must all have to be alert. We could not be deviating from we must be an exemplary to others. That is the greatest responsibility is given to you people, and I hope that you will take care of this responsibility with, as an request from me, an order from Srila Prabhupada and really make this. So I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. I wanted to say many things as I came here, and now I'm speechless. I don't know why, but and I respect and I'm humbled by all your people love and distribute this love to everyone so that with love you can even tie Krishna. Just like yesterday Prabhuji was telling, Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna. Bhagavatam is much more greater because it explains the glory, it glorifies Krishna true and also glorifies the devotees. So let us, we will not be in the part of Srimad Bhagavatam, but let us all together glorify Srila Prabhupada, and we say every day, maybe 1,000 times, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Actually, I request you all that if you really wanted to glorify Srila Prabhupada, take his mission as your dream. And your not only dream, get into the passion of it. Passion means not F-A-S-S-I-O-N. Passion, P-A-S, right? When you are passion to distribute the message, glorify Srila Prabhupada, then you won't feel any tiredness. Just like you are very fortunate that use your energy, that electrifying energy in the service of Srila Prabhupada, and by this way, I think he blesses us. And you people, I always expect, you are the younger generation people, new generation. He loves you more than what we disciples. So you are having more loving. Just like I was explaining on the other day, as a business, असल से सूट ज़्यादा प्यारा होता है, right? मतलब दादाजी होता लोगों को ज़्यादा प्यार करता है. उनके पास होता लोग दादाजी के सर के ऊपर चढ़ के भी बात कर सकता है. हाँ? मतलब उतना फ्रीनेस है आपको प्रभुपाद से, मगर अपने को नहीं, हमको वो फ्रीनेस नहीं मिला. So take this golden opportunity and make your life successful and also make others' life successful. So this is a bigger responsibility you are having. And whatever I am, because of my emotion, I am emotion today. So please forgive me if I hurted you in any way. And please shower your mercy on me. Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishpadaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Today is a very auspicious day of appearance of Srila Prabhupada, immediately following the appearance day of Krishna. So Krishna appears in this world, but we need a pure devotee to help us connect with Krishna. Therefore, the pure devotee appears immediately to reveal Krishna to the world. If Prabhupada wouldn't reveal Krishna through his books and writings, many of us born in India, we have seen movies on Krishna, we have read past names of Krishna in the past, but Krishna was not our only priority in life. Krishna was not in the center of our lives. We were worshipping so many different demigods. We were also watching cinemas. We were also doing so many other things in our life. But the seriousness with which Srila Prabhupada presented the Shuddha Bhakti path in his books, by his teachings, by his devotees, his disciples. So that's what actually have brought us to the current point of taking Diksha in Prabhupada's mission from Prabhupada's disciples and taking this mission as our life and soul. Otherwise, in India, in fact, Srila Prabhupada had a very great appreciation for South Indians. I was reading one of his room conversations. Prabhupada says that South India is not very spoiled like the other parts of India by the foreign invasion, especially the British invasion. Prabhupada says South India has maintained its sanctity, and as a proof, he quoted the example of TTD, Tirupati Devasthanam, and all the other Divya Desams, and the Sri Vaishnavas preserving the culture of Vaishnavism, even after 1,000 years after Sripad Ramanujacharya went back to Vaikuntha. So Prabhupada was saying that this Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra and Karnataka, these places are places where people are very pious, they are very religious, they are very simple-hearted, and they have a natural affinity for Krishna. And Prabhupada told his devotees that I am very keen to see that in these regions very good preaching happens and many, many devotees come. When Prabhupada said this, I was also thinking, in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is one shloka which says that those people who drink the water of Tamarparani, they will be pure-hearted Vaishnavas and they will take to Krishna consciousness very quickly if they are given an exposure. Like that, the 11th canto verse says that. So, all of you living here in the southern zone of India, you all are naturally pious, coming to temple, bowing down before the deities, making some offerings for the deities, chanting the holy names and singing Krishna songs is very natural for all of you. At the same time, Prabhupada also was quite aware that the South India is afflicted by some dangerous diseases. What is it? One is Mayavad. You will find the Mayavad which makes even educated people think that the bhakti path is very inferior or meant for sentimental people. And Mayavad means, we are ultimately God, we are ultimately supreme. They follow the Advaita Siddhanta. Many people, even today, educated people in the south, and they are very proud of their Vedic knowledge, of the Shrutis, of the Upanishads, and their pronunciation in Sanskrit. So such people have cheated the innocent living entities of the opportunity to awaken love for Krishna. They have suppressed that love by covering up that love with the false philosophy of Mayavada. This is one great disease in South India. Even I myself come from a Shaivite family. More than 15 years I have been chanting Om Namah Shivaya and everything. And I went to more than a dozen Mayavadi organizations, read their books, was following their philosophy and completely confused and bewildered until I was given exposure to Srila Prabhupada books. When I read Prabhupada books and met Prabhupada's disciples, one of my innermost experiences, I can tell you, I developed a feeling that Krishna is just very close to you. You're going to meet Krishna within a week. Like that you will feel when you read Prabhupada books. Goloka is, Bhuloka to Goloka is very easy. That kind of feeling I felt in Prabhupada's books. He made Krishna very easily available. Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite par, tomara shakati ache. He has the ability to gift Krishna to all of us. When Prabhupada was in Chennai, there was one Veerasamy, justice, very big man, highly respectable man in society. He invited Prabhupada to his house. So he had only one problem in South India, Prabhupada says. His problem was drinking coffee. Everything else he gave up. So he was telling, Swamiji, I want to take Diksha from you after giving up coffee, he was telling. So in his house, when Prabhupada was there with his disciples, so Veerasamy came and gave him this size silver Krishna, almost 5-6 inches high. It must be several lakhs worth, maybe 5 lakh or 10 lakh rupees worth. It's not silver plated, fully silver. He gifted to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada kept that Krishna on the table. And the little Saraswati came, she wanted to take it. She picked it up and devotees are worried that it's a costly thing. If a child takes it, she may misplace it here and there. So they took it off and gave it to Prabhupada. And when Saraswati came to Prabhupada was holding it in the hand and moved his hand like this. And Prabhupada showed, I don't have it, he said. Then Saraswati asked, show with the other hand, sir. And Prabhupada moved it like this and showed empty hand like this. He was showing like this. And then Saraswati was surprised. Oh, Prabhupada is not having it. Then she started bursting into tears, weeping. Then one devotee asked, Saraswati, who has Krishna? He asked the question. And she was moving from one devotee to another, catching their hands to check whether anybody else took it. As soon as he asked the question, who has Krishna? Immediately Saraswati turned to Prabhupada and ran to Prabhupada immediately. She was confident that Prabhupada only has Krishna. And Prabhupada also gave her that doll for some time to play with. And Saraswati wiped her tears and she became very happy. His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj writes this pastime, teaching us 2 lessons. One lesson he says, only a pure devotee can gift Krishna to you. And another thing he taught was, unless you shed tears of separation from Krishna, you cannot get Krishna. Saraswati had to literally cry to get Krishna. So unless we go an extra mile in our spiritual life, there has to be a pinch in spiritual life. Even in companies also you will see, you don't get promotion very easily. Those who take a pinch, go an extra mile, they get promotion generally. In the path of bhakti also, if we really want to advance, just chanting 16 rounds and visiting temple once a week and rest of the time doing our family duties of raising the children and getting the daughter married and getting son settled abroad. Many people think, I am a good pious Hindu. I am doing all these things very well. And my chanting is over for the day. And once a week I will take darshan of the Lord. In this way I will, at the end of my life, Goloka vehicle will come and take me back to Godhead. People generally think like that. Actually in Krishna consciousness, one has to feel Krishna consciousness, and for us to feel, we have to take the mission of Srila Prabhupada very seriously, as Gurudev Prabhu very beautifully pointed out. So Prabhupada was very desperate in South that the message of Krishna consciousness be reached to nook and corner of South India, but it hasn't happened the way that Prabhupada has dreamt. In fact, even in 1976, Prabhupada said, the Indians are not yet understanding my movement as much as the Westerners have understood and surrendered to the movement. Actually, Westerners had no problem about demigods or God and all that. They had faith in Prabhupada and they surrendered very quickly, very easily. Whereas Prabhupada said, Indians are caught up in the hodgepodge of different types of philosophies. which are like a disease afflicting the religious people, pious people also. There are pious Hindus in South India who worship human beings to be God. I don't want to mention any name, but there are people who keep photos of some human beings in their altar and call him as Bhagavan. They call him as God. And they are also chanting their names in relation to Vishnu Sahasranam. Similarly, they have made a Sahasranam for such people also. Actually, it's a shame that Brahmanas born in South India, born in Iyer families, Iyengar families, they are very proud of sending their children abroad and they are worshipping human being to be a Bhagavan. What a shame. Actually, think about our ancestors who were faithfully worshipping Bhagavan on their altars like Sitaram, Lakshmi Narayan, Radha Krishna. But now down the line, if you see, the families have become degraded like that. And materialism has crept in. And the materialism has eaten up their spiritual tendencies, making them accept the false presentations of so-called bogus incarnations. So one is the Mayavad philosophy, another one is the bogus incarnations, and the third one is the materialism, which arises from false confidence in the so-called gifts of science and technology and medicine. Science, technology, medicine has given some so-called gifts after being pampered, which even the pious Hindus have started thinking that life is not all that bad. It's quite pretty wonderful. So, therefore, nowadays, the signs of success in society means, my children are educated in Oxford and Cambridge, and I have a big business, and I have such a big bank balance, and I am a pious Hindu. I go to Tirupati once a year to ring the bell. So this kind of typical piety, South India has robbed the spiritual tendency of the pure spirit soul. So what is our task that lies ahead of us? It's a very challenging task that sometimes you can even take a suffering atheist and turn him into a devotee. But a pious materialist who, due to his piety, is quite somewhat comfortable and complacent, he thinks life is not all that bad. Along with the contaminations of Mayavad and materialism and bogus human incarnations and all these things, they are so afflicted and attached to these false presentations of spirituality. Adding to this, one more fourth thing you can add. Nowadays, many spiritual organizations have come up in the name of spiritual organization, but they are presenting how to keep a very healthy body with yoga and exercises and pranayama and go on with your sense gratification program. This is another fourth thing. One is direct materialism and atheism. Another one is spirituality without God. This is another one. Then there is Mayavad and the false incarnations. So these are all afflicting South India. And this is on one hand. On the other hand, the majority of the poverty-stricken are being converted to follow a religion where they can smoke, they can drink, they can do whatever they want. And they by nature get into such a low-class habits in the name of having become a converted practitioner. So it's a great curse on South India, these kind of diseases that have contracted South India. So I have told you the positives of South India, what Srila Prabhupada glorified. I have also told you the diseases that have contracted us. Just like a viral fever comes in the body, you have to take antibiotics and you destroy the viral fever and become healthy. Similarly, this ISKCON movement has come as the medicine. Srila Prabhupada has started this ISKCON in Hyderabad. Here, it is actually a Baba Aushadhi. Baba Aushadat Shrotra Mano Viramat. So, Prabhupada has brought the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and all his literature. So, one of the greatest tasks that Hyderabad congregation should take up is not to remain in the programs that we do in the temple, but go out of the way to all the 28 districts of Telangana. In each district, there should be a representation of Prabhupada's movement. In each one of the villages of those districts, people should see some devotees with tilak, kantimala chanting. And Prabhupada's book should reach each of those districts. So, in that sense, we have abundant challenges ahead of us. And what we have done is we are just scratching the surface of Hyderabad. We haven't done much, honestly speaking. Although we are very delighted and happy to see big number of devotees coming for festivals. Otherwise, every one of you sitting here who is initiated devotee in the mission of Srila Prabhupada, your very fact that you got initiated shows that you are a committed devotee. And from the educational setting that Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhu instituted here many years ago, nobody gets initiation or Bhakti Shastri so easily in this temple. They will take 5 years, after which only they were sent. So devotees are made very strong in spiritual life before they were given initiation. That means every initiated devotee in Hyderabad is a very special devotee. After several years of training. Now we have taken the training. Now it is our duty to give out the training. So I will quote one example of Prabhupada and conclude my talk. Prabhupada said, a devotee should be like a cow, he said. Cow means, cow swallows the cud. Because cow has got 6 bellies inside. So it swallows the cud and brings it out and then ruminates. Again it swallows, again ruminates, again swallows. So by ruminating repeatedly, it makes it completely digested. Similarly, Prabhupada said, like a cow, devotees should hear the lectures, read his books, and swallow the divine wisdom, and then contemplate on what they have read, contemplate on what they have heard. And thirdly, the cow gives milk. Similarly, Prabhupada said, devotees should preach. So we should do Shravanam, then Mananam, then Prachar. That is the third thing that everybody should do. So tomorrow, if you ask in Hyderabad temple, what is every initiated devotee doing? Every initiated devotee should say, monthly I distributed this many books, and monthly I have done these 4 programs. Weekly once I have done a program. I am doing a Bhakti Vriksha in my own colony. Either Matajis are doing for children or girls, and families may be doing for other grihasthas. Young boys may join IYS, ISKCON Youth Services, and they may also preach to the college youth. Prabhupada ki. So in this way, each of us have our own area to focus on, and we hope that in the coming year, we will be able to offer Prabhupada something very wonderful, more than what we are currently doing. Even currently, many good things are happening. Yesterday, I went to the stalls to see what all are displayed and who is doing what. So it was very thrilling to watch such a great variety of things being sold, both eatables, prasadam, and also many deity paraphernalia, and also Prabhupada's books, and also many preaching stalls. So in the last 1 year, certainly girls preaching, boys preaching, and our children Sunday school have been very nicely blossoming. And we had the COVID for a couple of years, so the temple was not open. Now the COVID is open, and all devotees coming on Sunday are finding it overwhelmingly loaded here at the temple, which is a good sign. Now, when we expand to other places also, all around Hyderabad, Hyderabad is a beautiful city. All the, working people are coming to Hyderabad for jobs. We have a very great scope. So, we hope that every one of you wonderful devotees sitting here, either you are 16 pounder or initiated devotee or serious devotee, we hope and pray that you will do something very wonderful in the year to come. And especially the 2 great souls we heard from now, His Grace Anandamaya Prabhu and His Grace Gurudev Prabhu, their hearts are so soft and welling up with tears of gratitude for Srila Prabhupada. So at their lotus feet, we will beg their blessings that they bless us and empower us so that we can do something more wonderful in the year to come. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। I was very much touched by Anandamaya Prabhu describing Srila Prabhupada's humility on the Vyas Puja day of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Prabhupada did not speak or could not speak and said, I will read the offering of the Boston devotees. On the other hand, we see that Prabhupada had volumes of things to say about Bhaktisiddhanta. I'm sure, any person with a sensitive heart will have some experience of this in a miniature way. That when your heart is filled with emotions and gratitude, love for the person whom you have considered everything, and if you are asked to speak about that person, sometimes the words don't come. And Prabhupada only lived for spreading the teachings of Lord Chaitanya under the instruction of Bhaktisiddhanta. His only life's one mission was to actually make the dream of Bhaktisiddhanta of preaching in the Western countries. That was his single pointed agenda. And to do that, Prabhupada has done everything. All his life, he struggled to establish the dream of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. In the history of Vaishnavism, Prabhupada will be very specially glorified by all the acharyas, because the preaching in the Kali Yuga is the most difficult thing. Satyuga preaching may be easier. Everyone has their own difficulties, but preaching in Kali Yuga is the most challenging thing. And you will not find great acharyas being relevant to people. Like, for example, if I am speaking, I can only speak to the people whom I know. I cannot speak for people who are going to come after 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, because I don't know how to address them. But the acharyas like Prabhupada, they are called Amoghadruk. Amoghadruk means they can foresee the future of people, and then they can address their consciousness through their teachings. Like, for example, Vyasadeva wrote Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, and all the Vedic literature, and it was not confined to the people who are contemporaries of Vyasadeva. It is meant for the generations and generations and yugas, because Vyasadeva was empowered. He is Krishna's incarnation. So same way, if we see, because some of our, eminent devotees, they have spoken about how Prabhupada has this simplicity to present Krishna consciousness in a most relevant manner to the people of this age. If you see, the success of Prabhupada is actually not that, he has many techniques. The success of Srila Prabhupada was, he presented the most complex philosophy of Achintya Beda Beda in a very simplistic language and simplistic expression, so that even very ordinary, uneducated person also can understand the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. That is the most significant contribution of Srila Prabhupada, which is yet to be understood by many of us. Many times I said, Radheshyam Prabhu was also mentioning that we heard Krishna, I heard about Krishna, saw Krishna's movies, and heard from our grandmother and grandfather, all this. But we never knew Prabhupada's Krishna. So, because even though we heard about Krishna and all that, we never wanted to surrender our lives to Krishna, to serve Krishna, to make the only mission of our life to serve Krishna. That feeling never came about. Even though we heard so much about Krishna, especially I am talking about Indians and South Indians, North Indians, South Indians, everyone knows Krishna. But Prabhupada has brought such transformation in the hearts of people by his books and by his speeches and by his conviction, that people apparently do not know anything about Krishna. Like the Western people, they never heard about Krishna. They don't know anything about Krishna. But he has brought such transformation in them that they have completely dedicated their lives to Krishna's service. What a tremendous contribution. So in the history of, this world, you'll only find few people who made such contributions who will be remembered for generations and for yugas together. And one such a person is Srila Prabhupada. You can see Srila Vyasadeva, Srila Prabhupada, Sripad Ramanujacharya, Sripad Madhvacharya. You see, the parampara takes a beautiful turn with their rendition of the teachings in that particular manner. We call our sampradaya, not we, our acharyas have called our sampradaya as Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya. Lord Brahma took these teachings and Vyasadeva has compiled them in the form of books, and Madhvacharya received it from Vyasadeva. And then after Madhvacharya, the person who took it to a sweeter turn is Madhavendra Puri. And in Madhavendra Puri's disciples are Lord Nityananda, Advaitacharya, and Ishwara Puri. Ishwara Puri happened to be the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And those teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who were only in the form of 8 stanzas, were elaborated by the Goswamis. The Goswamis gave so many literature. As Anandamaya Prabhu was saying, someone was saying, Guru Maharaj was saying, that Prabhupada, when he was writing the books at AM, 1 AM, 2 AM, when he got up and he was translating, all that was available to him was the original text of Srimad Bhagavatam and the commentaries of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baladev Vidyabhushan, and he was very, very carefully, he was understanding these tikas or the renditions, and then he was giving his own, his understanding of how to present these valuable teachings to the modern civilization, which is affected by the selfishness, which is affected by, as Radheshyam Prabhu was saying, the 4 kinds of things, which is affected by Mayavada, which is affected by, false incarnations. He has to address all these misconceptions and present Krishna consciousness in a very, very effective manner. That's not ordinary task. And that has to sustain for next 10,000 years. Prabhupada said, my books will be like law books for next 10,000 years. Just imagine, our speech will be irrelevant tomorrow. Nobody bothers. But Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada's teachings, Prabhupada's lectures will be relevant for a long, long period in Kali Yuga. That is the power of a great Acharya. So, we have to identify Krishna through Prabhupada. That is the most sublime, most perfect, and most pure way of relating with Krishna. Through Prabhupada. But I was also touched by another thing. That how our Anandamaya Prabhu or Gurudev Prabhu, they were identifying themselves with Prabhupada. Identifying Krishna through Prabhupada, identifying oneself through such a great Acharya is what actually makes the connection to Krishna complete. You directly approach Krishna, Krishna is not reachable. You have to approach through an Acharya. Even though you may approach through an Acharya, unless you have loving sentiments for the Acharya, unless you feel for the Acharya, unless you keep the Acharya in your heart, you will not feel inspired to follow those teachings which the Acharya has established. So, I'm very grateful the way Gurudev Prabhu was sharing. You all take mercy of Prabhupada. You're all grandchildren of Prabhupada. Prabhupada is much more happy with you. He will easily forgive your mistakes. Spread this Sankirtan, spread these teachings of Srila Prabhupada. The way that, the way he was speaking, the way he was expressing his emotions is so very heart-touching. That's what they want to see. That their relationship with Prabhupada, they were fulfilled, and they want to see that the future generations are given such connection. And this most precious teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada are carried to the next and then the future generations without any contamination. And in fact, that is the anxiety of any Acharya or any sincere devotee. How these teachings can be passed on to the next generation. And today we are in a very, 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 very precarious condition because the generation change is happening every 5 years. A lot of things are becoming outdated within 3 years, 5 years. Earlier when we were thinking generation means 20 years, 25 years. But now the generation changes are within few years. So with such rapid change, and the spiritual things are also not exceptional for that. So in this way, it's a great challenging situation that we are all facing, that how these teachings of Srila Prabhupada can be preserved and can be passed on to the next generation. One thing that I have been observing, I can say I have also spent one generation in this temple. 1999 I came to this temple, and now it is 2022. So almost 23 years that I have spent in this temple. And I have seen thousands of devotees going through these changes, various changes. Some could sustain and some could not sustain, and they just went away. And very few people were able to sustain in all these years. With the same enthusiasm, with the same hope that Prabhupada's teachings are livable and they could be handed over to the next generation without any contamination. That hope is very important. And I see that very few people have such hope because they are seeing that these teachings are contaminated by different things. Like, for example, I was very happy to hear Radheshyam Prabhu singing. I observed that he was singing the tunes that Prabhupada sang. That is what I observed. And it is very important that someone actually scrupulously follow such things, keep such things in the heart. Today, the modern way of singing has come about. The devotion is gone. All the cinema songs, music has been taken, and then we are singing Hare Krishna. And we have different philosophical expositions that are going on, thinking that Prabhupada's books are outdated. We have to have bridge books. Bridge books means you are already deciding that Prabhupada's books are not relevant, so first you have to read these books only to read Prabhupada's books later. That is nonsense. Who will be able to bridge? The one who is I am in the material world, and can I bridge to the spiritual world when I am in the material world? Whereas a person in the spiritual world can make a connection through his books. So if bridge books have to be written, that is to be written by liberated souls, not conditioned souls. And Prabhupada is a liberated soul. He has already presented Krishna conscious philosophy in a most relevant manner. So these ideas that are coming nowadays, that Prabhupada books are outdated, some of the parts of Prabhupada books cannot be written, they have to be erased, some of the sentences have to be taken away because it is very highly sensitive. These are most dangerous traits that we are facing today. Prabhupada has presented Krishna consciousness so boldly that when the case was going on, what is that case? Brainwash case. Case was going on. And the devotees were very much depressed that, this case is such a big case and then it may hit our movement very, very badly. The judges are, what kind of judgment they will give? They will definitely, they will give a very bad judgment. And Prabhupada told, you ask the judges, before they give judgment, they should read my books. And if they find anything, anything which is wrong, they can give judgment. First, let them read my books. This is what Prabhupada had, that confidence that if anyone reads my books, they will find sanity in these books. This is presented in a very scientific manner, not in a dogmatic manner. So, Prabhupada has given that legacy for us, that we have to present Krishna consciousness as not some kind of a sentimental faith, but it has to be presented in a very scientific manner. In fact, this is the only option that is available for people in Kali Yuga. There is no other option that is available. This is the only option. It's not that you can explore many things. That is why Shastra says, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Iva Kevalam. There is no other option. You want to explore other sampradayas, you will have to come here back. You have to come to the shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are other Vaishnava sampradayas, but they are also struggling very much to keep their people. As Radheshyam Prabhu was saying, that some of the even some of the Sri Vaishnavas or other Vaishnavas, Madhava Vaishnavas, they are struggling to keep their children to be pujaris or to be worshippers of God. In fact, my Guru Maharaj, he was sharing one experience that he had. He went to one South Indian Brahmin family where the South Indian Brahmana was the pujari in a temple, Srirangam temple, I think. And then he had 2 children. So Guru Maharaj was interacting with that pujari. So the pujari said, it is very significant, the pujari, what he shared with Jayapataka Maharaj. He said, I have 2 children, 2 boys. One is very intelligent. I have sent him to Oxford to study. And the other fellow who is a little dull-headed, I am going to make him next pujari. You understand this, what it is? That means the impression is that if you are dull-headed, you are only fit for this kind of, devotional work. If you are very sharp-minded, then you will go to the West and then, earn a lot of money. No. We want the best of people to be part of this Krishna consciousness movement. Bhagavatam says anyone who takes up this Krishna consciousness movement is Subhuti. He is the best intelligent person. It is said, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajnair Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedasaha. Only person who has a finest brain will actually participate in this Sankirtan movement. So that is what Srila Prabhupada made it. He actually brought these Westerners who are glorified for their wealth, opulence, scientific technology, advancement in modern amenities. He made them chant Hare Krishna selflessly. And that has woken up India very much. Oh, these people are doing. We should also. This is our dharma. It is in our backyard. We have forgotten it. So we must accept this Krishna consciousness movement. So this is one of the, this is, we say in Sanskrit, na bhuto, na bhavishyati. There will not be one, there was never one, a personality like Srila Prabhupada. He was a very, very unique personality. And we are very fortunate to be in connection with such a great personality. And we should take full advantage of this and understand his teachings and then pass it on to the next generation without any contamination. Srila Prabhupada would be immensely pleased. Srila Prabhupada's anxiety will be completely taken away if we can do this service to Srila Prabhupada. And that would be the greatest service to any Acharya. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Samsara dava nalalida loka tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam. Samsara dava nalalida loka Praptasya kalyana gunanavasya Vande Guru Sri Charanaravinda. महाप्रभो कीर्तन नित्य गीता बादित्र माद्या मनना रोमांचकंपा श्रुतरंग भाजो वंदे गुरु श्री चरणारविंद श्री विग्रहाराधन नित्य नाना श्रृंगारथान मंदिर माजनादो युक्तस्य भक्त्यांच नियंजतोऽपि वंदे गुरो श्री चरणारविंद चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत प्रसाद स्वाद्वन्न तृप्ता हरिभक्त संघा कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वंदे गुरो श्री चरणारविंद श्री राधिका माधवयोरपारा माधुर्य लीला गुणरूप नामना प्रतीक्षणा स्वादन लोलुपास्य वंदे गुरो श्री चरणारविंद निकुंजायो नो रति केली सिद्धे याली भीर युक्ति अपेक्षणीय तत्राति दाक्षादति वल्लभस्य वंदे गुरो श्री चरणारविंद साक्षाधरित्वेन समस्त शास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भावेत एव साधिः किंतु प्रभोर्या प्रिय एव तस्य वंदे गुरो श्री चरणारविंद यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत् प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् nagati kutopi. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Yasya prasada nagati kutopi. Dhyayanstavam stasya yasya stri sandhya. Vande Guru Sri Charanaravinda. 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Vimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatharine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe. Jai Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. জয় জগন্নাথ জয় জগন্নাথ জয় বলদেব জয় সুভদ্রা জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ 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 জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ 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 নিতাই গৌর হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল
Jayam Vishupad Paramamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashotala Sata Sri Srimati His Divine Grace et Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jayam Vishupad Paramamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashotala Sata Sri Srimati His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki Jai. Ganga Mai ki Jai, Yamuna Mai ki Jai, Srimati Tulasi Devi ki Jai, Bhakti Devi ki Jai, Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai, Sri Sri Gaunitai ki Jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the Samadhivatis, all glories to the Samadhivatis. All glories to the Samadhivatis, all glories to Sri Guru, Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Avirbhav Titi Maha Mahotsav ki Jai, Srila Vyas Puja ki Jai. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladadayine Hiranyakasipurvaksha Silatanka Nakalaye Ito Nrisinga, Parato Nrisinga. Yato Yato Yamitato Nrisinga. Bahe Nrisinga, Hridaye Nrisinga. Nrisingamading Sharanam Papadye Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakasipo Tanam Bringam Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisa Hare Jaya Jagadisa Hare Jaya Jagadisa Hare. केशवधृता नरहरिरूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे Jaya Nrsingadev, Jaya Nrsingadev, Jaya Nrsingadev, Jaya Nrsingadev. Jaya Palanara, Jaya Palanara, Jaya Palanara, Jaya Palanara. Nitayor Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
सर्व भक्ति विघ्न विनाश नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे। Kindly don't rush. Peacefully you come after the 3 times of Esha Pushpanjali, you come and offer at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, you are just throwing flowers on others, not on Srila Prabhupada. Please remember that. Only the people who are near to the deity can throw flowers, others cannot throw. So, please don't make such an attempt. There is a table right in front of the, the stage. So, you can offer your flowers here. Hare Krishna. Kindly repeat. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवार्षभानवी देवी दैताय कृपाब्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाढ्या श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्ध अपसिद्धांत ध्वांतहारिणे नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्य मूर्तये विप्रलंबर सांभोदे पादाम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौर शक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भाव भूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्ट सज्जन प्रियः वैष्णव सार्वभौमः श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छा कल्पतरोभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतो पंगो मम मंदमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्भोजो राधा मदन मोहनो दिव्यवृंदारण्या कल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद्राधा श्रील गोविंद देवो प्रेष्टालिभिः सेव्यमानं स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षन् वेणुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथश्रियेस्तु नः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे एष पुष्पांजलि एष पुष्पांजलि एष पुष्पांजलि His Divine Grace अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे एष पुष्पांजलि एष पुष्पांजलि एष पुष्पांजलि His Divine Grace अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे एष पुष्पांजलि एष पुष्पांजलि एष पुष्पांजलि His Divine Grace अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की श्रील प्रभुपाद आविर्भाव तिथि महामहोत्सव की समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदे
All the devotees can take darshan from the Prabhupada's room open. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Devotees who want to take darshan of Prabhupada's room go from the temple staircase. Devotees who want to take darshan of the Prabhupada's room, please go from temple staircase. Hare Krishna. All devotees are requested to go from back side, not from front side. Please go from back.
प्रभु, आपका बेटा दामोदर, जो प्रभुपाद का जो व्यास पूजा हुआ ना, उधर बैठा हुआ है, दिल का वेट कर रहा है। दामोदर प्रद्युम्न प्रभु, आप किधर भी हो, आपका बेटा वेट कर रहा है। दामोदर